Hello, and welcome to the Franchise Connection, where the Enterprise B won't be fully operational till Tuesday. I'm Matt Fisher.
I'm Matt Spire.
And today we're beginning the Star Trek The Next Generation movies with Star Trek Generations. Engage spoiler alert. Star Trek Generations begins as James T. Kirk, William Shatner, Montgomery Scott, James Doohan, and Pavel Chekhov, Walter Koenig are invited to the flagship launch of the Enterprise B. However, this momentous occasion is cut short when the ship receives a distress call that El-Arian refugees are caught in an energy ribbon. Kirk, Chekhov, and Scotty jump back into action and manage to save some of the El-Arians from utter destruction, but unfortunately, Kirk is presumed dead in the aftermath. Decades later, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, and the crew of the Enterprise D are investigating an attack on a space observatory when they come across one of these El-Arian refugees named Tolian Soran, Malcolm McDowell. Soran pleads with Picard to let him continue his experiment, but his request is denied. As their investigation commences, the crew deduct the station was attacked because someone had stolen trilithium from the Romulans, and the main suspect is Soran. Yet before anything can be done about this, Klingons attack the Enterprise D and beam Soran aboard the vessel. As the Enterprise D tracks down Soran, Picard learns more about this man, his ultimate goal of returning to a place called the Nexus, and the deadly consequences that come with it. Realizing the severity of the situation, Picard decides the only way to stop Soran is to face him head-on, even if it means risking his own life. However, Picard won't be alone in this fight, as a chance encounter with the legendary hero will be just what he needs to help save the day.
So, how did you enjoy the first Next Generation movie?
All in all, I really enjoyed it. It was interesting to see that transition from TV show to movies for this crew and this era of Star Trek. What I found interesting was, overall, it didn't feel as much of a movie as it felt like a really big two-part episode. And I found that really interesting, that it's almost like how Next Generation had to learn to be its own show in that first season. This first movie is trying to find how it can be a movie this time around.
Yeah.
So a bit of a learning curve, but overall I really liked it. It had, the themes and the philosophical ideas that you enjoy and finding out and kind of thinking about when it comes to Star Trek. At the same time, it was interesting how this movie had to be a little twofold. It's like, we can do all that thinking and philosophy, but we also be a movie. And so it's fun to see how the movie has to have bigger action scenes alongside, really
contemplative moments.
Yeah, exactly. But all in all, I thought it was a nice transition between the two eras. In a way, it was a transition that came later, because with Next Generation, you're just thrown into that new century, and this time around, you kind of get a nice transition from the previous century to this century.
Yeah.
Something else I liked about it was, it kind of answered a question that when I was watching Next Generation, I did have.
What was that question?
Do you want me to say now?
Yeah, why not?
Where was Kirk the whole time? And I think this movie, by taking him off the board early on, allowed that to have an interesting answer. I'm not an answer I think everybody likes, but at least it kind of says, where was he? Although, McCoy shows up, Spock shows up, Sky shows up, Chekhov, not so much, or Uhura, but the fact that...
Neither does Sulu.
Yeah. But, with Kirk, it's kind of like, would he still be alive in this era? I guess...
Yeah, he would still be alive because
Would he still be alive because, Spock was around because he does...
But Bones is also alive.
Yeah, but he was so he would probably been around...
Bones' age.
Yeah, maybe a little younger, but okay, so it's fair to say that he would have been around. But the idea of, how come Captain Kirk never approached the Enterprise, or, they referenced in the first season that one mission that he was on. So I kind of liked how they kind of gave us an answer with that. Where was Kirk this whole time? Well, now we know. He was in a place out of time and space.
Yeah.
Kind of. Those are my thoughts about overall the movie. Before I jump to asking you about rewatching this, one thing that I did notice, and you can answer this question for me, is it felt like not a question, but whatever. An observation.
Yeah.
It felt like a reset for the characters in some ways, because some of the characters act in a way where it's like they had grown past that in certain aspects.
In some ways.
Maybe because they're starting off with the movie, so we're going to give them a fresh start, even though we're carrying over.
I think it was a case of we need to because it's a movie and more people are going to see a movie, even though it was a popular TV show, we need to reintroduce everybody to these characters.
Okay.
And in doing so, they had to be like, okay, we have to roll back some of the character development.
Because I noticed that, like, and I'll go in more deal about this, but, like, Data being like, what is fun? It was like he's experienced laughter on the show. He's experienced heartache on the show. Like, it seems like weird that he would not remember that in a way.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a new form of fun that he's having because he pushes Beverly on a holodeck program into the water. I don't know. The other thing was, like there's a part, like, Riker says, too, like, they talk about, like, sailing on the sea, and he goes, yeah, but there were no women. I'm like, didn't Riker kind of get past that whole womanizing aspect of his personality? Not completely, but not to that extent. Now that I've said most of my thoughts, like, you haven't... When was the last time you watched this, and what did you think of it on a rewatch?
I don't think I've rewatched this. I've seen this since I saw it with my dad years ago. I don't want to say this was like the 90s when I watched it with him.
This one came out in 94, I think?
Yeah, I think we watched it like in like 96 or something like that when they were doing a re-release for something or another. So I barely remember it.
Okay, so it was kind of like new for you.
Maybe it was like 99.
But
I do remember seeing it. I remember seeing this and Star Trek 4 in theaters.
So watching all these years later, is like, do you have a better appreciation of this movie? Do you like it more? Like,
I enjoy it.
With a new mindset, do you like it? Or
I enjoy it. I think it's a very imperfect movie.
Yes. Yeah.
I think as great of an actor as Malcolm McDowell is, I kind of think his villain's kind of lame.
Maybe one note. It's that I agree, but at the same time, I kind of understand it. It makes it a little bit better, so he's not just, like, maniacal. Like, there's a reasoning for why.
There's a reasoning for what he's doing. Yeah. It is his whole plot is kind of stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's... And Guinan says as much. Having rewatched Star Trek Next Generation, we had that whole big conversation about it. Like, do you see this... Like, how do you see this era beginning for TNG? Do you see how I see it? Like, it's kind of a little bit of a reset.
It's a little bit of a reset, and that's... As I said, to be fair, you have to reintroduce all these characters to a new audience. Yeah. So, what better way to do that than kind of bring them back, reel them back character development-wise a little bit?
Like, if I never saw any Star Trek, at least now I know who Picard is. I know who Riker is.
Exactly.
In a way, I feel like some characters this time around get more of the spotlight.
Oh, yeah.
And going into these movies, I've had a few people tell me, keep an eye on Picard because he's going to get way more
screen time.
Screen time and an action hero status than he had in the series. Okay, without further ado, should we jump into the movie?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So,
let's start with the beginning.
Yeah.
With the...
Well, where else?
Yeah, where else to start? But back in the original series era.
Yeah. So the movie opens up, like we said, with it's a flagship launch of the first Enterprise ship in 30 years.
Yeah, it's the Enterprise B.
Yeah. Which. So I know I'm jumping around here, but like in yesterday's Enterprise, when the ship. I know you might not know the detail, but like when the ship shows up and Tasha Yar comes back, spoiler if you didn't listen to our last Star Trek episode, was that the Enterprise B? That wasn't Enterprise B. That was a different Enterprise.
That was the Enterprise C, I want to say.
So there's a nice continuity to that. That's pretty cool. Okay. Interesting.
Because the Enterprise in
TNG is the D.
Is the D.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. So it opens up on this flagship launch. Something I thought interesting, we see, like, I really saw, like, the first media event in Star Trek. You never really see that. You don't really see press running around and interviewing captains and everything.
I loved how Kirk was getting so mad at the press. He's like, get out of my way.
Yeah, every time he wants to, like, look on the ship, they're like, hey, we have a question about this and this and that. And, it was fun seeing Kirk come back and Chekhov and Scotty and seeing those three actors kind of reunite. Even if it's such a small scene, but it's a small scene, but at the same time that same, connections they had while working on the original series, it's still there, and it's really something fun to see. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting to see like the press, because again, like I said, like Star Trek, that's never a thing. Like you don't really have like media coverage of anything. Like you have archaeologists and you have scientists and you have anthropologists. So, but you never get to see a lot of like reporters. So I thought it was kind of cool to see. And like it was a little futuristic as it is. Yeah. Like the one reporter had like I think like that camera on his head, like it was like a headband. We also meet on the ship the captain of the Enterprise B, which is John Harriman, and he's played by Alan Ruck, who's Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And it's kind of interesting. His character is such small screen time, but what he's meant to represent is interesting. Because, like, you're like, oh, it's a new ship. It's going to be magnificent. And then you realize...
that nothing's ready.
Yeah, nothing's ready. But I'm jumping ahead. But how do you feel about, like, Kirk, like, looking at the starship, the Enterprise? He's kind of, like, reminiscing. He's kind of thinking of old times. It's almost like when Scotty did the holodeck program.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. It's kind of like giving that moment to be like, this used to be my life, and now it's, like, a different life, you know?
Yeah, he's moved past this, and he's like, I should never have quit.
You think so?
Because he did say to,
Sulu's daughter, Scotty. Or Chekhov.
Well, no, he says to Picard towards the end of the movie about how his
big spoiler, Matt.
How being the captain of the Enterprise was the greatest thing he ever.
Don't retire until you're ready to. Yeah. End of episode. Matt just spoiled the whole thing. Okay. But I like that like Shatner could kind of like. It's very like small transitions, but he can go between being kind of goofy and silly. Like he's acting like kind of happy to be on the ship, but he's acting kind of like I guess it's silly the way he's talking and stuff. I thought that was kind of fun, and like I also like that we meet Sulu's daughter, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah,
did she ever show up again anywhere else?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Maybe in like the extended media, like a book.
Maybe.
Because it would have been interesting to follow her character.
I know Sulu has a couple of books that just follow him, so I wouldn't be surprised if his daughter has some more presence.
I mean, if it's like a big deal, but it was also like she represents to Kirk like
passing a torch almost.
Passing a torch, but also like a loss in his own life in the sense that like he never had this, and he's like talking to Scotty about it, and he goes, when did Sulu have time? He's a captain of a ship by this point. When do you have time to have a family? And Scotty looks and goes, well, you always say if something's important, you make time for it.
Which is a great advice.
Yeah, and I also think it's also like a bit of sadness too, because a spoiler for Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, he loses his son. So it's almost kind of like seeing like, again, a loss in another way of like what he had and what he can never get back. But I also like thought it was funny. Chekhov's talking about like after he's talking to Sulu's daughter, he's like, I was never that young, and Cook's like, no, you were. He was one of the youngest crew members, I would say, on the original Enterprise. Actually, I flipped those two parts about Cook talking to Scotty. Doesn't make a difference. I made my point. I think a big part too was Kirk, like he's holding as they're ready to launch, like he's holding on to that captain's seat. Like, how do you feel about that scene? Like,
I mean, it makes sense. He's like, he doesn't want to let go of what he has or what he had.
Because he's an admiral at this point, or he's retired.
I think he's retired. He was an admiral. Yeah. I think he got knocked down.
Oh, because he stole the ship in Star Trek 3, right?
Yeah. And then he was captain for 4 and 5, if I remember correctly. He might have gotten the admiralty back. I don't know. I don't think so.
It's just that sense of Kirk going like, this was what my life was built around. And it's interesting because in some ways talking about this, it's like Picard has the same revelation.
Yeah.
Years later. At that point, they're ready to leave the docking, and we get what I keep joking about is the shipgasm scene. There has to be one in every Star Trek movie.
Every single one.
It's just in some ways it says 2, but yeah, they'll leave it like you have to have one moment where you just like glossing at the ship like so much. Like, look at it, it's new, it's brand new. I mean, it's fun. It hypes you up, but it's just something fun to kind of keep an eye out for. But I think Lower Decks
made fun of that.
Yeah.
They made fun of it a few times.
I mean, like 5 different angles too. But I guess what was cool too, I noticed that I guess this opening took place before what happened with Scotty.
Yes.
So I thought the continuity of what's happening, I thought was really well done. Like, it keeps things in place, and it gives you a sense of when things happen. But yeah, I was like thinking like, oh wow, so Scotty's still here. So this is before he got trapped in the holodeck.
Yeah, because he got trapped in a holodeck like 10 years after that.
Yeah, and he was there for like 70 some. Actually,
60 years. I think.
Yeah, because
this was 70 years before.
Yeah. Right.
TNG.
Yeah. But
well, actually, 78
yeah.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
it's Star Trek. We have to be very precise about this.
78 years before the movie.
Yeah,
the main timeline of the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool that like we got to see. Oh, this is what he was doing before all that happened, and things are looking great. But then things take a turn. Like I said, they get a stress call. They find these ships. I thought it was an energy field at first, but they kept referring to it as an energy ribbon later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ship's trapped in it, and it feels like, the start to like a Star Trek episode, pretty much.
They try to save the people. They were only able to save a handful.
Yeah, and it started to really the action in the scene was really well done. Like the director, David Carson. What I liked about this whole opening was it felt like a TOS era movie.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool because it felt consistent with the look and the action. I mean, the wardrobe, of course. But it was almost like a mini movie. It's like, oh, we're going to give you a mini TOS movie era moment, and then we'll jump into the TNG era. Now, they mentioned the Al-Orians, though in my notes I kept putting it Al-Lorian, so I didn't pick up on that right away.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on that? Did you?
I picked up that the Al-Orians were a group.
But did you pick up on them did you remember who the alien race was? Because I didn't.
I maybe a little bit.
But once you saw Whoopi Goldberg, then you're like, yeah. And so what's interesting is they get this stress call, and the captain's like, well, we can't do this. We don't have...
Once I saw Guinan...
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool, Guinan.
Yeah.
I forgot she played a bigger role in this movie.
I was happy to see Whoopi Goldberg get 2 scenes. Like that I wouldn't want more, but that she had a big role to play in this movie.
Yeah, a bigger role than... I don't think she's as big a role in the later movies.
Is she in them at all?
Yeah, she's in them.
Okay. I like to, but we'll talk about it later. But I like that. She's just, you want to talk to a character. She makes you feel better every time she talks to you. But anyway, they realize that they get stress call on Captain Harriman. It's like, we can't save them because we don't have everything ready. And but then they realize that they're the only ship in range, so they have to. And at that moment, I don't know, did you pick up on this? Because I was thinking, I realized, this whole thing was a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
This was like a mission accomplished, standing on an aircraft carrier type moment, being like,
see, look at our cool toys. None of it works, but cool.
So that's why the joke began. I'm saying it won't be right till Tuesday because they kept saying do we have this?
No. It'll be here Tuesday. It'll be here Tuesday.
So it's like it was just all a publicity stunt. I thought that was really interesting because I guess it says a lot about
Starfleet.
Yeah, that they had to have good press. I don't know. It makes you think what happened before that they were like, we have to get this done to make us look good. Because, they broke a piece with the Klingons in the end of the last movie. I'm
trying to remember. The timeline because...
Well, this was after Star Trek 6.
Yeah, but I'm trying... Because I want to say it's...
do you think...
Is it right after Star Trek 6, or is it...
I don't know exactly, but
I'm trying to remember when Kinnemer gets blown up by the... No, that's later because that's the Enterprise C.
Yeah, but my question is for you, do you think something happened with Starfleet that'd be we have to because they took the ship out without the idea that maybe we have to be. It's it was a prop. It wasn't a fully operational vessel, and so it makes for a lot of good drama for the movie because every time they need something to help save the Al-Arians, they don't have it.
All they have is the transporters and the engines and the
torpedoes. They tried to mimic the torpedoes.
Yeah, they had to mimic the torpedoes.
So this scene is really pretty exciting and action packed. It has what you expect with ship destruction and battles in Star Trek with like the moving on one side, then moving on another side. But I like the fact that like Harriman's like, "Hey Kirk, I need help," like because this guy or this captain on this ship is just there to be a face for the vessel.
Yeah,
and Kirk is like the one that can know how to operate because he's been in the situations, which really makes you think if Harriman was like this like his first big captain's role. Do you think?
Yeah, probably.
So Kirk, being Kirk, man of action, jumps into it.
Well, first of all, he says, "Here's what needs to get done," and the captain first says, "I'll go," and then Kirk's "No."
Well, that's later on. Yeah. But like first is like Kirk. He talks to Scotty about the tractor beams, and like they have none. They said
it won't be there till Tuesday,
and the ship's getting destroyed more and more. And Scotty jumps in. He does his engineering genius work that he always does, and he tells Captain Kirk that they can transport the best they can.
Yeah,
which leads to a sad result, which is like we saved. I wrote down. They say like 47 out of 150 people, so like they managed to do something.
They saved about a third of the people.
Yeah, but they still have the cost of like we didn't do enough because Captain Kirk is a guy that doesn't want to lose. Yeah, and he has to suffer some losses this time around. There's a quote that I wrote down that I liked. Where he's talking to Harriman, Kirk, and he says, isn't that risky or something like that? And Kirk says, that's
part of the job.
Quote, risk is a part of the game, end quote. And that's how he lives his life all the time.
Yeah.
It's always being a risk taker. Yeah, so during this time, the ships are being destroyed, the energy field are doing what they can to save it. And then they say, do we have a medical team? No, we don't have a medical team.
It won't be ready until Tuesday.
Yeah. And as that's happening, as they're trying to save the Elarians, the Enterprise itself is starting to fall apart.
It's getting stuck. It's getting sucked into the ribbon.
Mm-hmm, yeah, almost like I guess kind of you could say like almost like cosmic quicksand in a way.
Kind of.
Yeah. And we cut away before as they're trying to deal with this, and we see some of the Elarians that got saved, and one of them is Malcolm McDowell's character,
Soran.
Who keeps screaming, "I have to go back! I have to go back!" And you look kind of like, why? Like, wait. You were trapped in a field. Why would you want to go back? It does make you wonder, like, what happened. So it does make you want to keep watching. And then at the same time, we see Guinan. And I was so happy to see her. That she was, because I was like, it was a good cameo. I thought that was going to be the only cameo with her.
You get a little more backstory with her.
Yes, absolutely. And it kind of that's the fun thing about a character. Like she's mysterious enough,
and you don't want to demystify her too much.
No, it's almost like certain characters like you give me enough answers, but I don't always want to know exactly who they are.
Yeah,
and she's in that
category.
Yeah, but yeah, I was like I thought that'd be the only we see of it, and if it was, it'd be like but that's a good way to do a cameo. You show it. It kind of gives you a little bit of a nostalgia and reference to the show, but it's not like being too much with it.
Yeah.
As that's happening, we jump back to Kirk on the bridge, and him and Scotty, they're talking their theories, and they realize that they could use like the photon, they could fake a photon torpedo into the ribbon to bounce out.
Yes.
And then they want to use the photon torpedoes, but then they're like, the ship won't be operational till Tuesday. Like, why didn't they just wait till Tuesday? Now that I think about it, like, was it that important they had to get it out now?
And we don't know what day of the week it was.
Yeah.
It could have been Wednesday, and they needed a way to 6 days, and they couldn't wait 6 days.
I guess I'm just so excited. Being for best. That's why it's Enterprise best. At that time, like Harriman, they have to refresh my memory on this, but like there's a part of the ship they have to fix to fake the torpedo effect.
Yeah.
And Harriman's like, I'll go down to Cook, you have the bridge, and Harriman. Cook says, "No, you stay here. You're the captain. I'll go down."
I'm just a civilian.
Yeah, I mean that was a great call. I mean, I think in that moment, even though Harriman is just kind of like a face for the ship, like Kirk actually treats him as a respected
captain
officer. Yeah, that he's like, "No, this is your ship. I'm not taking this away.
I'm not taking away your ship." And also, I've done stuff like this before.
Yeah,
I'll deal with this. I'm not a commissioned officer. I'm just here to help you out, basically.
Like I said, like Cook still has a risk taker mentality, and he'll still go beyond to save the day, no matter what. And as Kirk does what he has to do, Scotty's able to shoot the beam, and they're able to get away. And the ship gets hit. And, of course, emergency fields, where are they? There are none. Not till Tuesday. Yeah, so they escape. Ship's damaged. That's right, they put the emergency fields up for the rest of the ship.
Yeah.
But then they go, where was Kirk? And he was in a part of the ship that got hit.
Yeah.
And when they go to look, it's opened. And they realize, they just presume he's dead. Because there's nothing there. And he was there. And they see space. So what else are you going to assume? He disappeared. So, like I said, I thought that was a good answer to where Kirk was during the TNG era.
Yeah.
And I thought, if you had to think of a way to
write him out,
that was a good way to do it. Or kind of answer that question years down the line. And then we segue to 78 years later. We're in the 24th century. And we get to go on a sailing ship.
Yes.
Well, not a sailing ship.
It's a holodeck program where they're giving Worf a promotion. Mm-hmm. It's a promotion ceremony for Worf.
In the weirdest way. I thought they were playing a game where Worf got captured or whatever, and he had to walk the plank, and they're like, "Oh no, this is just a way to do promotion for you. You walk the plank to get your hat, which is your badge." I mean, it was a good use of the holodeck. I thought it was fun. It was just a nice kind of way to show group camaraderie, and then bonding. I
do find it funny that it was basically just the main cast of the show.
I was gonna say,
and the ship was still running with side people.
Yeah, all we're gonna do this for Worf. You've been here for a week. You love the bridge. It's what? So you can play captain on the sea? That's the softer side for Picard's personality. It was funny, it was silly, and it's a good point. Because I'm it's a good way to kind of bring all the characters together in one scene and kind of introduce you to them all over again.
Yeah.
And it was done in a very funny way. If somebody hadn't watched any Star Trek and they walked into this when it was playing in the theater, they'd be like, "What movie is this?" So they have Worf walk the plank, and Riker's like, "Remove the plank." And he falls into the ocean. And this brings up something I was saying before. Data's kind of also Picard's
it's supposed to say retract plank.
Yeah, instead of remove it. And Riker's just oops. I think it was because he was a little upset about maybe he was still a little sore about the relationship between Deanna and Worf. I don't know. I doubt it. But I'm sure there's some fans that'd be like, "No, Riker still has an axe to grind." But at that moment, it brings up a moment I mentioned earlier where Data's looking and everybody's laughing, and he's talking to Dr. Crusher, and
he's like, "Why is that funny?"
Yeah, it's why is that funny? Well, Data, some things are just funny. Some people it makes people laugh for whatever reason. And then he kind of does this head tilt, and then he pushes her into the ocean. And then they're like, "Why'd you do that, Data? That's not funny." So I
was trying to understand why someone getting wet is funny.
Yeah, and so that's what I mean. In terms of reset, Data kind of understands more things by the. I mentioned this. I felt like a very complete story for TNG. By the end of it, Data kind of completed his journey to knowing what it means to be human. And in this movie, it's back to square one in some ways.
Not quite.
Square 5. Out of 10.
Because he has the emotion chip.
Yeah, I have a question about that. When we get to it, I'll ask you. But something I liked was just Picard always had a sense of embracing and loving the past and the simplicity of it. So I like the moment when he's looking out the ship and he's just imagine what it was
like
to be sailing the ship and just being around the ocean, the salt air.
Did you notice the ship's name was Enterprise?
I saw that. I like that. I thought that was a nice little Easter egg. That's what I liked about Picard, because he's always he's always reading books. He has a physical photo album in an era where everybody has everything digitally in front of them. With the exception of Riker, he has his trombone. It's not a holodeck trombone. But it's something I liked about Picard, that he knows how to respect the past, because it gives him better understanding of how to work in the future. But then Riker has to make a joke, and that's what I mean, kind of square when it's Riker's but there were no women on the ship, Captain. So, like, I mean, like, did you feel like that was, like, you said, like, before, like, it was a way to introduce them again?
Yeah,
it was less about, like, resetting it?
Yeah, I think it was less, it was less about a resetting and more just a way to reintroduce them and bring them to a wider audience.
And then during all this fun, Picard gets a message from Earth, and
it's very tragic.
And, like, he does such a big about face.
It
like,
breaks him.
It breaks him, and it makes him very stern with his entire crew. And, like, I like that they kind of kept you guessing what it was. It wasn't like you got the message, here's what it is. It's like, what's going on, Picard? Like, you want to know.
You don't learn until, like, almost an hour into the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. And as, you know, Picard is trying to process this news, the ship gets word that an observatory was under attack. And they go to investigate. Something I noticed, once they get on the bridge and the rest of the ship, the Enterprise is very shadowy and dark. Did you notice that?
A little bit.
It was very, I guess it was a little jarring for me because watching 7 seasons of the show,
it was very light.
It was a very light, bright. I mean, the difference between being a TV.
I think it was a case of, because if you remember during Data's Day, the episode, the lights are dimmed.
Yeah, but then they go to Data's room and it's dimmed there too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it was a way to kind of make it, feel more cinematic. I think it was meant to be to differentiate between the TV era and the movie. But it's just something that stood out. There's something that's fun about, like, anytime you go on the Enterprise, it's bright, it's vibrant, you can see everything. So it's kind of, I just felt a little strange.
10 Forward looked pretty vibrant.
Yeah, but they were by his sun. Yeah, you know, the sun was shining inside of it. But it's just a little observation I thought was interesting. I'm sure it was a way to kind of like, well, we can't make like the show. We have to differentiate it from it.
Maybe.
So let's do something different.
I mean, the uniforms are also different.
Yeah, I know. Some of them, though, were the same.
Yeah.
Data's was different. I noticed that. Because I started knowing by the collar it has like the V.
Yeah.
So it's not as tight forming, I guess. And I forgot what I put it on my notes, but like, Picard he screams at Riker just do what I say, like, because they'll go into the observatory and then, like, what was Riker saying, like
well, he's like do you want me to go and investigate or and he's like, just do it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care what you do, just get it done.
Yeah.
And I noticed at times
well, I think he was like, I'm dealing with something.
Well, it's like when
I'm not ready to bring it out of what I'm dealing with.
I think it's less. I think it's that, but I think it's also like when you have something that upsets you on a personal level and you really don't want to talk about it. You're acting out and getting frustrated at people for no reason. Yeah. It's just the way you're processing it because it's stuck in your head. And you don't know how to get it out. So you're just kind of acting out, not intentionally. It's just the way it happens.
Yeah.
So I think that's more of what Picard's doing. Something I thought was kind of interesting, too. Like I said, like the opening of this movie felt very much like a TOS era movie. Now that we get to this moment, it feels much like the TNG era. The way it looks, it feels like a TNG episode. And they're investigating the observatory, and they're looking around. And who do they find, Matt?
They find Soran again.
And then when you saw it, were you like, how is he still alive? And then, like, were you wondering that? Or you
I was like, well, as soon as I saw him in the beginning, because I mean, as I said, I've seen this movie before. I'm like, but I think it was pretty obvious in the beginning of the movie when they save him and he's like, I need to go back. I'm like, he's the villain.
Well, I mean, listen, I like Malcolm McDowell, but most of the time when he plays a character, he's a bad guy. Yes. Though he did play a Van Helsing type character in a very low budget vampire movie, which I forgot the name of. So one time he played a hero.
I mean, he's played a hero a few times.
He was in Heroes playing a villain.
He also played what was it? He voiced one of the characters in Billy and Mandy during one of the Christmas specials.
Okay.
And he plays vampire.
Yeah.
That quote unquote turned Santa into a vampire, but it wasn't him.
So he got falsely accused, just like this movie. But yeah, they find Soran and they'll ask him like what happened, and he's like, I don't know, I don't know who attacked us. But on the ship they find
Romulans.
Yeah, So, like, okay, so it has to do something with the Romulans, but why were they attacking the space station?
So they send out their information, and they're like...
And they're waiting to hear back. But then we cut away, and we see Data talking to Geordi. And so, I mentioned this to you earlier, that, not early this episode, but the other day, that Data's whole storyline in this movie feels like a B-plot, if this was an episode. That's what I mean, like, that's why I feel like watching this movie, it feels like a 2-part TNG episode.
Kind of.
On a big screen scale. And Data's whole storyline feels like the B-plot. That, like, oh, while Picard's dealing with this bigger issue, Data's dealing with what is funny and emotion and stuff like that. Did you feel that way? Did you feel like it was just like balanced in two different stories?
Yes and no. And I only say no because I know where the movies go.
Okay. I don't, so this is why it's fun for me. I was happy to see... Okay, go ahead.
I will say this. It's something that is kind of a through line for the TNG movies.
Okay, so rather than being a B-plot, it's just seeding another story for later.
Correct.
Okay, I'll ask this before I continue, but, like, knowing where it goes, how am I going to feel about that? And knowing how I like Data as a character.
It goes in an interesting direction.
Okay. Alright. I was happy to see Spot showed up again.
Yeah.
Hey, Spot. He's still
He's
around.
such a bad cat.
Oh, Data's doing the best he can. He's only android. But he's talking to Geordi, and I do like that they make time in this movie to have Geordi talk to Data. And hang out with him, because they're just two science geeks, the best friends, and I like that they take the time to, like, make those moments happen. But he's talking to Geordi, and he's like, Geordi says, oh yeah, Crusher's really mad at you, so I want to go to sickbay anytime soon. And
saying that to an android who doesn't need to go to sickbay.
I thought that too, yeah. Something I noticed too, like, that was maybe one thing, like, most characters get a few moments in this film. Crusher doesn't get much.
She gets that conversation with,
she gets pushed into the ocean.
And then she's in sickbay when they find Soran.
Right, yeah. I want a little bit more. I mean, I like Crusher. So that's just like a slight nitpick in terms of the movie.
I think basically the main characters of the movie are Riker, Picard, Data, and Geordi.
I really wouldn't even say, but I would say Riker, Geordi, and Data are supporting characters, but the movie's very much centered on Picard and Soran.
Yeah, but I was saying, like, the ones that have the most screen time.
Yeah. Story-wise, I would say Riker gets a little bit less than Data.
Yeah.
But, like you said, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
But Data unveils an emotion chip that he feels like... Because I guess one reason he doesn't get humor, but he wants to grow as a person. Where did this motion chip come from? Motion chip, whatever it is.
He got it back... He got it...
Is it a reference to the show?
Yeah. Okay. It's from when, from Descent, when Lore... It's that chip that he told Geordi to hold on to.
Oh, wow.
Because he didn't want to use it because he felt that it was making him unstable.
Oh, yeah, because Lore was controlling him. Yeah. Right? Okay, wow. Okay. Thank you for reminding me of that. That's all cool. So thanks.
That, Lore stole that from Soon earlier in, like, season, like, 3 or 4.
I'm sure it's the episode where him and Data showed up at his house on that planet.
Yes. Yeah. Because Soon was going to give him the chip then, and Lore stole it.
Alright, so thank you for reminding me of that. Again, you watched Star Trek twice, so TNG twice, so you'll remember that better than me. But I thought, so forgetting that, I was like, oh, this is a pretty big step for Data. He wants to really be more human than he already is. And I like that Geordi was there to help him. He's like, okay, I'm your friend. I'll do what I can to help you with this. That's what I'm here for.
He's like, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah. And so I think it's interesting for... I never feel like Data really goes back. When I said, like, he felt like he got reset, just because I feel like he would know what humor is at this point. But it does feel like he does constantly grow into a person.
Yes.
From the show into, like, these movies now. And then we cut back to... We go to 10 forward. Picard... Oh, but I think before that, like, he wants to inform Starfleet about what's happening. He wants to let them know what's going on. He's talking to Riker about that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But then he gets word that Soran wants to talk to him. Or Soran...
Yeah.
He says, I want to talk. to Picard.
Yeah.
As he's waiting. I was happy to see Tim forward. I like that they're using a lot of what we saw in the TNG show. Because...
you see the holodeck, you see the bridge, you see his ready room.
Because I was saying around, like, with the TOS era, like, they had to kind of, like, start fresh again, a whole new era. But I like how here is just kind of, what do we know? What can we familiarize just you with that you already know? Yeah, so you got, like you said, Tim forward, holodeck, the bridge.
The saucer section.
Yes, I was right. That's exciting. Oh, can't wait to talk about that. But, yeah, Picard, like, he's so closed off, and I thought it was kind of interesting because I keep saying that, like, Patrick Stewart in this role, he keeps going between Season 1 and Season 7 Picard many times.
Yeah. He's
very serious and stern like he was in the first season, but he's very kind of, like, compassionate as well. And it's just a matter of the situation he's in. When he has to be a captain, he's very stern and angry, but when he's by himself and just talking to other people... he's Picard. Yeah, he's not captain.
It makes sense why he is the way he is.
In this movie in the movies in general? Like, do we see that a lot in the movies going forward? Or
just this movie. Okay. From what I remember.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how did you feel about it? Did you pick up on that? Or did you feel the same way?
I picked up on it, but I understood why he was being
I understand too.
And it's completely justified.
No, yeah, I understand too. I just find it interesting that he was able to kind of balance those two different Picard personalities.
Yeah.
Picardinalities? I don't know what they call that. At the same time, before Picard shows up on 10 Forward, Data shows up, and he goes to Guinan, because this is a very happy Data. And something I have to say is, even though, what I said about, like, Data feeling a little bit, like, reset a little bit, but Spiner's having so much fun.
Yeah.
He is having so much fun playing this version of Data.
Ooh, I hate this.
Yeah, because he goes up.
More.
He goes up and he tried a new drink with Guinan, and he's like, ugh.
What is this?
What is this? I don't know how to describe it. It's strange, and I don't really care for it. Like, then you must hate it, Data. Yes, I hate this drink.
I want more.
Yes. he's like Thor in the first Thor movie. He's like, he gets to do more of a range for Data, and we do see that a lot in the TNG show, but like you see it on display on a bigger level.
Yeah,
he's smiling, he's
having
laughing,
so much fun, especially with like his stand-up comedian.
We'll get to that. Yeah. There's also a bit at the end too. Yeah. At that moment, Picard shows up in 10 Forward, and he meets Soran. And Soran explains, I have to go back. I was working on an experiment on the star, and I need to complete it. And Picard's just like, no. Like, he denies him quickly.
Well, he says, no, we need to. We're investigating why you got attacked.
Yeah.
As soon as we're finished investigating, you can go back.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I need to go back now. And he's like, no.
Yeah. And it makes sense because Picard's like, I'm doing my job. We have to investigate this. If I let you go on the ship and there's a danger to it, I'm liable. I'm responsible.
Yeah.
I can't have that. And, like, again, like, because he's dealing with a lot of stuff, he's very rough. He goes like, no, leave it alone. And he walks away. I thought it was interesting because then Soran leaves the 10 Forward, and he sees Guinan. And I like the way that Carson films that moment.
Yeah.
Because Soran notices Guinan. And I'm like, but does she notice him? Like, it's a very kind of quick moment. I'm like... because we had that moment, and I like that they, you show that beginning for this scene now and then later on.
Yeah.
But it's very done well. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if she saw him or not. But she also has like that kind of a
prescience.
Yeah, like you sense stuff too. So this is on the ship. No, it is on the ship.
Yeah.
Geordi and Data are on the ship. They're investigating what happened.
Well, no, before they even go to investigate.
Yeah.
Or no. They're going to investigate, and then Riker gets a message about stolen Romulan trilithium.
Yeah. What is it? It's a MacGuffin. No,
it basically is.
It's a powerful element that the Romulans had. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And he sends that information to Data and Geordi,
who are on station.
At this point, and so they're like, "Okay, we need to look for. We're gonna search for this stolen trilithium."
And we discovered that what trilithium does is it stops fusion in stars, and that kind of leads to more questions, like why would you need to stop fusion in a star? Like, that's a pretty powerful
weapon.
That's a weapon. Yeah. And during this whole time, Data's just laughing and laughing and laughing.
And doing a stand-up comedy routine.
But it was funny, though, because it makes me want to go back and see if this did happen, because I forgot. Data goes, ha 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 ha. He's like, I just got the joke that Riker mentioned about the Ferengi when we were on the Farpoint mission. And again, good job with continuity in this movie. Geordi's like, Data, that was like 7 years ago. He goes, I know, but I just got it. And that's what I mean, like, kind of like learning as Data is kind of like a child in some ways. Like, it's like he would just find the most ridiculous and like
then
odd moments to be like bringing this up.
And as they're looking for the trilithium, he takes out his tricorder and uses it as a mouth.
And I also like too that like, he kind of makes fun of Picard because they make it so. It's again, Brett Spinos. He must have been having so much fun having to actually have more emotion than he has to have. Data and Joy, they find a hidden door, and again, Data's doing his stand-up bit the whole time. He's like, he opens up his wrist and has a little gadget in it. And he's like, open sesame. He goes, I have a magnetic personality. It's like, boys, like, I wonder if that was a callback to that episode where he was doing stand-up. Because you remember, I think Joe Piscopo was the guest star in that episode, and he's trying to learn how to be funny. Yeah. So I wonder if that was a callback, now that I mention it. Because I feel like this movie does that a lot. Like, there's a lot of, like, quasi-callbacks to different episodes. Yeah. And like you were saying, like Data doing his bit with the tricorder mouth. Geordi sees he sees a probe and he sees something odd about it. And you said that what he sees odd about it was there's the trilithium is in the probe. Yeah, and he's just kind of like, it's just strange. Like, why would you put this thing into a probe? Like, the probe's meant to explore and study. Like, you know. And this is weaponizing.
And then Sauron shows up in the shadows.
Well, even before that, Data's laughing, but then he's like laughing too much, and that's when you start realizing the chip might not be operating correctly. Yeah. I mean, was it operating correctly, or was it just him kind of not knowing how to deal with his emotions?
He said he lost control of his emotions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I guess it's like when you have kind of hysterical laughter, and like you don't know how to stop sometimes.
Well, it's also he's new to emotions too, and the chip is. The only other time it got used is in Descent. Yeah. And it was being abused. It was...
so they didn't know completely how this would work on an individual. Right. I wonder if trilithium had an effect on it.
No, I doubt it.
His dad was like, do not use around trilithium. It'll make you laugh too much. But yeah, like you were saying, they want to talk to Starfleet Enterprise about this, but there's a field blocking the signal. And then, like you said, Soran... He
shows up behind them and he knocks Geordi out.
Like Batman.
Yeah. And then he, shoots Data?
Something like that, or he, like, pushes Data away. Yeah. And then you're like, oh... Like, what's going to happen here? Like, what is it?
And then he shoots off the probe.
Yeah, but like even before, like you knew, like Soran, like you said from the beginning, was like he was up to something, and then that we found out he was lying about what happened on the space observatory. But yeah, by this point, like if you didn't think he was a villain, you know he's a villain at this point. And so as that's happening, we cut to Picard, which this is like I felt like a really, really good moment, not only between Picard and Deanna, but like acting wise between Patrick Stewart and Marina Sirtis. Like, it's just so well done. It's like some of the best kind of very character driven moments of TNG.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about it?
You can talk about it.
Okay. So Picard, like I said, I like how Picard has a fondness for the past, respect for it, not just like a nostalgia thing. He's looking at a photo album, and you're like wondering what this photo album is, and then Deanna shows up.
And she's like, what's wrong?
Yeah, and, you know, her job as a counselor, she's a therapist. She's there to talk to people when they don't want to talk. And Picard is going on about what the message he got was and why he's behaving the way he is. And he mentions it was about his brother and his nephew, and that they both died in a fire. And as he's talking about it, I really like how Patrick Stewart does, because he's like breaking down.
He's broken.
He's breaking down, and like, he's upset about, you know, loss of his brother, but he's even more upset about his nephew.
Yeah, because he feels like without his nephew, there's no legacy.
There's that whole thing about, like, now the burden of this name falls on me. Like, he goes, I figured I could have a job that didn't require having a family because the family line would continue with my brother and my nephew. But I also saw like it was like just little details. Like he was like so sad at the simplest things. He's talking about Renee.
Renee.
Renee was the nephew's name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. About how he's like just simple things like the books he won't read, the music he won't, the experience he won't have. Like
he won't be able to go to Starfleet.
Yeah. It's almost like he lost what in a sense was like his child, even though it was his nephew, but it felt like it was his legacy. And this is the way Patrick Stewart does it. Is just like it's very frustrating and like a man that always seems like has things handled. And that's the thing I always find interesting with whether him or Kirk, and I'm sure I'll see it with like Sisko and Janeway, is that, you know, these people who have to be confident in charge, like they do have those small vulnerable moments that make you remember they're just a person.
You'll see.
Yeah.
Don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah. And like you said, he's just distraught. Like, and that's something I thought interesting too. Like, I find it interesting. Like, you find out more about the Picard family line.
Yeah.
That he said like they have Nobel Prize winners in it. They had the first colonizers of Mars in that line. Like, did that give you more of a weight to what Picard's legacy was?
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe why he strives to be so like the best of the best.
Yeah.
Like, how did you feel about this moment? Like, did it feel like the best of TNG between characters like this?
Yeah, though, especially the moment, especially the character moments, like the smaller character moments, I think were the best parts of this movie.
That's what I mean, like how this movie has to work on two levels. It has to be a big blockbuster movie, but it wants to do, you know, small character moments that the show could always do easily, without, you know, having to find places to fit it in. And like the end, like I said, like. It was, I would say, one of my favorite moments with her, because I think this even from the first episode, like she's always by Picard's side. He needs somebody to kind of just speak to him on a personal level.
I mean, that's why she's the ship's counselor. She's there to counsel and to provide advice, as well as when you're in a situation like Picard's in, he's like you need someone to talk to. You need a. Sometimes you need therapy.
Yeah, and then I think that's what I found interesting with like Deanna's character through the show, is that like it kept on like she's there to kind of like gauge early on like what somebody's trying to say, but later on you're like, oh no, she's there to help the crew manage what's going on,
especially on a long voyage like they're on, and when you have families on this ship as well, you want to have someone there to be like to give basically therapy.
Yeah. I wonder too if it's maybe her dealing with her own loss too, like learning about the sisters that she lost, and we found out like the last season of TNG. So maybe she could relate in that way. But yeah, like that was an not awesome, but it was a very dramatic and well acted scene.
Yeah,
awesome acting by Picard.
Yeah,
such a stuff. And then as that's happening, man, what happens outside the ship? The probe went to the star.
The probe goes to the star, and the star dies.
Yeah. Data and Geordi are MIA, and at that moment, then the Klingon play showed up,
and beam Sauron and Geordi aboard.
And I think was Data cowering in that scene? Like he was scared in that scene, right?
I think he was.
That was in that moment, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know he stayed on the space station.
Yeah, but he sees Riker and I think Data. Yeah. Okay, I did have it in my notes. But yeah, at that moment, so that's something I noticed too. Like the space battles in this is like because it's a movie, so yeah, space battles are bigger and they're more explosive. Yeah, and you get a sense of more action to it, not to the lengths that like the Abrams movies. Yeah, with action. This is like traditional Star Trek action. But at that moment, you're like, they beam Soran aboard the bird of prey, and then you're like, they realize that he must have been working with the Klingons.
He was working with this group of Klingons who stole the trilithium from the Romulans.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they were telling Sauron, like, well, we're now at now the Romulans are after us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was interesting how Soran.
I don't care.
He was essentially using.
Yeah.
The like.
Well, he hired them. They're basically at this point they're just mercenaries.
Well, that's something I thought was interesting. They carried over the whole deal of like a rebel sect of the Klingon Empire that's trying to take over the Klingon Empire. So yeah, they would work with whoever.
They're basically just looking for the funding to take over the Klingon Empire.
So I like that kind of. It's interesting. You would say. I mean, would you say that he's kind of the anti-Guinan in the sense that Guinan talks to people to get the best out of them, whereas he talks to people to get the worst out of them so he can use them?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, what were the names again of the Klingon?
Lursa and Bator.
And I said to you, I'm like, oh, they're kind of like the Patty and Selma of
Next
Generation. And I would say so, because they have an axe to grind. If Starfleet is Homer Simpson, then yes. then they are Patty and Selma. Like I said, it's all jub though.
They're basically for anybody who's never seen TNG. They are the sisters of Duras, who was this Klingon who was trying to take over the Klingon Empire.
He was in line to get the Empire with Go on.
Yeah,
and
he was basically manipulating things so that he could get the high chancellorship.
And then later on, they try to like find a way to control the throne by using an illegitimate son of his. Yeah. So I thought it was funny too that like when Sauron gets on the ship, he's fighting with them, and one of them puts blood on his lips, and she's like, "Oh, this is like, are you trying to mate with me or something like that?" Because that's a Klingon thing to say.
Yes,
they're very animalistic and barbaric in terms, as well as being very like scientifically advanced with their ship. So I like that it kind of like had that Klingon sense of humor to it. So like you were saying, so this is what I mean, like when I say like it felt like a 2-part episode, because to me this would be the part
where it would have cut to black and say to be continued.
Yeah, like he's on the ship and they're like the Romulans are after us, or like the next thing that comes up where Picard goes to talk to Guinan, and it would have been like something like he gets taken by the Klingons, and then would be like to be continued, or you have the scene where Picard like goes to Guinan and goes like, "What do you know about this man?" And it's like to be continued. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like the second, it feels like a 2-part story that they made into one movie. Not in a bad way, but it kind of shows what I've become familiar with in terms of how they kind of
tell their stories.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Picard goes
to Guinan.
Yeah.
So this is scene 3 with Guinan.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, right. So she gets 3 scenes.
She gets 4.
She gets 4.
Yeah. She's in the Nexus.
Right. Well, that's an echo.
It's still her. This is scene 3 with her.
Yeah. So Picard. Well, he gets information about Sauron, and then he goes.
And then he goes.
He gets it from her, though. Yeah. Everything that he learns about Sauron,
he learns from her about how he was trapped in the Nexus for years, and
before that,
well,
he was trapped in the Nexus, but so something interesting was that in I'm impressed I remember the title, but in Q, Guinan's talking about how her race was destroyed by the Borg.
Yes.
So the scene we see in the beginning of the movie is that around the time when they were nomads in space.
I'm guessing that's when they were nomads in space, because they were on 2 different ships, and
that's something I like, because it's filling in a story gap without having to have a whole story around it. Like hearing that, I'm like, oh, so when they were on those ships, they were escaping the Borg around that time. They were, or they had.
Well, no, because Guinan was also in the far past with Mark Twain too.
But it seems like she visited Earth around that time, like she could travel there.
Yeah, so I'm guessing this was when they were. She knew about Earth before that,
maybe. But I just found it interesting that like, oh, we're kind of seeing like a bit of what she told us already. Like we're seeing them, lost in space, trying to find a home. So I thought that was interesting. And in a way, they kind of build up the Borg to be the big villain that I expected when I saw TNG. Because they mention it, and they use such a weight to the word and the race
This
in a way.
is also around the time when
Voyager?
No, yeah, this is about the time when Voyager was just starting off.
Yeah, this is 94, so was it around that time, or was DS9 still going on?
Deep Space Nine and Voyager went concurrently.
Okay.
I think it was like season 2 of Deep Space Nine onwards was concurrent with Voyager.
Is that what people expected Voyager to show through the wormhole?
Probably.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, going back, like you were saying that Soran, they were skipping the Borg, and they were rescued by the Enterprise. And to kind of recount what happened.
Yeah.
And I'll let you take over.
So
where was he?
He went to the Nexus.
Yeah. What's a Nexus,
It's
Matt?
a place where time has no meaning.
And death doesn't exist.
And death doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. And she was there, and he was there, and a bunch of other people were there.
So my question is, they were there, they were living that spot, but when they were caught in that energy ribbon, that whole time they spent there was when they were trapped in it, so that those few moments?
Yes.
So it was just small enough to feel like it was an eternity.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So whoever was lost in the ribbon was in...
okay.
It's in the Nexus.
Hey, that's a plot point they should bring back at some point. That somehow those El-Arians that were trapped there come back into...
Yeah.
The Star Trek universe. Or the main universe, I should say.
Yeah.
But continue.
She tells Picard that Sauron has been trying to recreate this for decades.
He's been trying to redirect the ribbon.
Yes.
So he can
go back into the Nexus.
But he was trying to get it. Was he trying to create a gateway?
Well, he was just trying to get back into the Nexus.
So he wasn't trying to form a gateway. If you get hit by the Nexus, the energy ribbon, you automatically go to the Nexus?
Well, he wanted to redirect it because apparently if you try to fly into it, it just blows you up.
And that's what... Well, something happens to the crew later on. That's why what happens to them happens to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So... They try to... he's trying to recreate the accident that caused them to go into the Nexus. Because he found out that was the only way to get back into the Nexus because his whole family is dead.
Yes. They were killed by the Borg.
Yes.
Yeah. And hence we get the parallels between him and Picard.
Yeah.
Where they both lost something. And it's like one's either kind of like struggling to deal with it and wondering what it is, and one has a way of not having
to deal with it at all.
Yeah. Guyan does make a point to him. She's like, I want you to know, like, that place is very tempting. It will keep you there. And I wouldn't say feed off of you, but just keep you complacent and content.
Yes.
So that you never want to leave. And there's something about when we do see the Nexus that it's tempting, but it's not fulfilling.
Yes.
And after we get the whole exposition moment, we go back to Sauron, who has Geordi's visor. And
he's tampering with it.
Yeah. And it kind of... So that reminded me a little bit of the episode we get captured by the Romulans.
Yes.
And the Romulan candidate, I'll call it. Because later on, like, something happens, I'm like, oh, this is like that. Using Geordi...
But they weren't actually controlling him. They were just... No, but they were just using him as a spy.
Yeah. And at that moment, Sauron tells Geordi who he is. And he's asking about the trilithium. And I guess because he wants to know... I guess because he wants to get it so he can use it to get into the...
Right.
To redirect the energy ribbon. It's interesting, too. We find out that Data's emotional chip is fused to his brain now.
Yes.
And is that why it becomes a plot point? Or plot thread? Because they can't get it out. So he has to learn how to deal with it.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if it was around this scene or not. But, no, it was around this scene. Yeah, him and Picard are in what I call Cerebro on the Enterprise.
Yes.
So it's a big, big map room. They're trying to figure out... They're
trying to figure out where the next location that Sauron would go.
Yeah.
Because the Klingons have bolted off into space.
Yeah, and they're trying to track them down, but they're having a hard time locating it.
Because it's a cloaked ship. And
they realize...
that if they're looking for the ribbon... And the perfect place to go would be this specific star.
Yeah, but even before that, they mentioned how the reason they get to that is because they found one spot was like some sort of like gamma radiation, and they're like, oh, people being redirected from that. Because if we can redirect that, and then they realize exactly where that plan's going to be going. So it's Picard being very good in this, being the captain. At that moment, too, you have a huge Data moment where Data is telling Picard, like, he's scared because he's thinking of Geordi. Like, usually he's very analytical, he can be very straightforward, he doesn't have to worry about feelings and connections. And
he's afraid for Geordi.
And he's afraid for Geordi. And, like, he's telling Picard, I can't operate this. He goes, you have to turn me off. I can't deal with this. And, like, he's nervous. You've never seen him this way. And he says to Picard, you have to deactivate me. I can't do it. And I said before that Picard's doing a Season 1 to Season 7 transition. He ends up being a captain. And
he's like, you will do it.
You're like, you'll do this. You have to do this. You're an officer, and it's your job. But, like, he kind of softens it by saying, you have the courage to get this done.
Yeah.
Like, because, again, it's understandable why Picard is kind of jumping between his emotions. There's a lot going on. But he's never going to, like, demean his officers.
No.
Never.
If anything, he's doing it to uplift them.
Yeah. So even though Data's afraid, like, Picard's like, I know you're afraid. It's not that I don't care, but I know you have to get this done first. Because this is more important.
Not only more important, it will help you get through what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so they're realizing Soran changed the course of the ribbon, and they can't just fly in like you said because they'll get destroyed. So he has to make the ribbon come to him, and they found, like you said, a class and planet that he's going to be on, and he's going to destroy the star so the
ribbon comes towards him.
And it's in the Viridian system. I wrote that down. But yeah, so now that they know where he's going, we go back to the Klingons, and the way that Soran was paying them was that they were going to make a weapon. Like, he was going to make a weapon for them.
He was going to make a weapon for them that would help them take out the Klingon High Council.
Yeah, and then who shows up? The Enterprise!
And he's like, I know you're in this shit.
Yes.
Klingon ship. Yeah. We know you're in this.
Yeah, because he's talking to... why do I keep patting Selma? Whatever. I say, I'll remember. Yeah, because talking to them, and, like, we know you have Soran. They're like, we don't know what you're talking about.
We're cloaked. Why are we getting a message?
That's right, because they managed to decloak them. That's right. Oh, because
they were still cloaked. They didn't decloak them at all. They just were like, they just sent a message and said Klingon vessel.
Yeah. And they're like, there's nobody here, Picard. Oh, you're annoying. Get out of my face. And I like how this is the animosity between them, because it does go back to the series too.
Yeah.
That's right. I put in my notes. Like, Soran, would you say he's a mad scientist? Because he kind of acts like it.
Yeah.
But would you say he's a mad scientist?
Yeah, probably. He's a very singularly focused scientist that doesn't care about the consequences of his actions.
Yes. Okay, so as that's happening, and they know, I think, they find out as they're talking to them that Sauron beamed down to the planet.
Right.
And Picard's like, I'm going to go down there. I have to deal with him.
But Picard says, we know you have our officer.
Yeah.
I will swap places with him, but send me down to the planet first.
Yeah. And this is one of my biggest questions to you. This goes against everything from the very first episode that Riker said to Picard. Because I'm going to go down to the planet, and Riker's like, you're the captain. You have to stay in the ship. It's my job. I understand this is Picard's story. I guess it's his whole emotional arc. But Riker should have been the one to go down instead?
Probably. But then it wouldn't have had the meeting captains.
It would have made actually more sense for Riker to be the one to meet Kirk, because they're both the same type of individual. But yeah, it wouldn't be the same because you don't have captain meeting captain. But yeah, that was my biggest... I mean, did you think about that?
Definitely. Yeah. I understand why they did it, though, because I'm sure Patrick Stewart was like, I'm sick and tired of sitting on the ship. Let me do something.
I want to do something by sitting on a rock and waiting until a force field goes away. Because that's what he does.
I know.
Keep
throwing rocks at it until he finds the weak point in the force field.
He goes down and he meets Soran. And it's a good moment because I like how it's not Picard with phaser out, getting ready to attack him. Like, he's trying to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I like that. There's a little bit of a cheesy feel effect to it, just enough to bring back that feeling.
And even Soran, he's like, I understand what you're going through. And he's like, no, you don't.
Yeah. And that brings up a big point. I feel like there is a theme to this, because like you said, Picard's trying to negotiate with him, and Soran's like, this is the only way I can get this done. But there's very much a theme of this movie of death and legacy and living with pain and having...
And time.
Yeah, time is a big factor, and I'll talk about that in the next... Well, yeah, I can talk about it now. But yeah, time is a big factor in this, because it's like, Picard was talking about the time that his nephew wouldn't have. Soran's talking about time he wants to get back and never have him to lose, because he mentions time as a predator, like it just eats away and takes away everything that makes life joyous and fun and worth living for. And without it, Soran really, he's going on a suicide mission, because in a way he doesn't know if he's actually going to succeed with this. He just feel like it's the best chance I have.
He's doing it because he feels like he wants to see his family again.
Yeah, regardless of what happens. Mm-hmm. Like he's willing to die. Yeah, even if it means that, in this process. But as that's happening, side note, the Klingons are looking through Joy's visor, and they get the schematics
for the shields.
Yeah, and that's what made me think of that Romulan episode again. So that was kind of interesting. And then they also joke too, because like before they find the schematics, they're like, "What kind of engineer isn't in engineering?" Yeah. Because he's going around everywhere else. But and then finally he does get into engineering.
And he's like, finally, we got it.
And, so as they're talking about, all this happening while Picard's talking to Soran, and, they find the field effects. That's what it is. The ship's cloaked, but they able to locate them because they found the plasma coils that activated. And I thought it was funny, too, that, while they're doing that, Data, they ask Data to look for life signs, and he's sing-talking. And he goes, I love looking for life signs all over the place. And it's again, Spider's just having, it's a fun moment. He's having a lot of fun with this. He's a very, very chipper Data. And with the Klingon storyline, it's kind of the end of it. They fire on
Lursa and Bator.
And so there's a moment where Riker says fire.
Yeah.
And was that a callback somewhat to Best of Both Worlds? Because the way he said it, it felt very kind of reminiscent of that. But wow, we never saw a Klingon ship blow up like this. It's a movie, but yeah, they went all out. And it's not the first time. I mean, they annihilate that ship. Is that the end of that storyline? Because, do they show up again? Because, you can't say
at least not in
the TNG movies.
The TNG movies,
because they were annihilated.
They do show up in Deep Space Nine, but I think that's before, timeline-wise, before this.
Because the ship explodes in a huge way. So how?
I don't think they beamed down.
I don't think so. Also, if they beamed down, would that be against Klingon honor?
Probably.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think they have very much to begin with.
Actually, talking about that too, Worf doesn't get much. He gets promoted, but we barely see him do anything. We see him actually being security chief a lot of times in this one. But I would say, would you say his story, him gets less screen time than some others?
And there's a reason for that.
Okay. You'll tell me later?
Well, yes, I will tell you later.
Okay.
It's kind of the same reason why he's not initially on. You'll see.
Okay. So now that story is out of the way, for the most part, we go back to Picard, and he discovers that the rocks blocking the shield. There's rocks fly with a force field so he could slide through, and he tries to.
He's trying to widen the hole.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And then on the ship, that leads to the big confrontation with him and Soran before the end of the movie. But meanwhile, on the Enterprise, the coolant's leaking in the engine, and we get a separation of the saucer from the ship
as the ship is going nuclear.
Yeah, and I thought so. We see that in the first episode of TNG. We see this. I liked with the movie, they made this feel really intense, and they really felt very it was a lot happier.
Well, they were evacuating the entire ship to the saucer section.
Oh, was the other one? Some would just go into the battle station. Some would go into the...
Yeah.
Okay. Because, this is, like, treated as a matter of time. And, like, they really have to, like, work. And, I don't know if it is, but, like, one of the kids looked like he had a tribble. Yeah. I don't know. But then another kid lost her teddy bear. You were very upset about that.
I was.
They can make it now in the replicator. But, it's
not the same.
But I mean, the separation was like...
Because you saw the kid's face when she dropped her teddy bear.
How would you feel? You're like, 5 or 6, you lose like your favorite stuffed animal. You're gonna be upset.
Yeah.
But the saucer separation, like, they made it very cinematic. And boy, like it. That was an interesting.
This was probably the best shipgasm scene of the movie.
Yeah. I call it ship destruction gasm.
That too.
Yeah. I also like seeing, like, Riker take charge in this moment, and you have Deanna at the comms alongside Data. They're all trying to work together to do the best they can to protect everybody.
Everybody they can.
Yeah. But even, like, when the ship's crashing through the atmosphere, like, you're seeing it burn up. Like, it's everything that you scientifically, in terms of Star Trek, need to see, like, you see on display in this.
Yeah.
At the same time, Soran is getting ready to send the probe into the sun to get to the doorway. It's something interesting too. As the ship's crashing, I know I keep jumping back and forth, but these scenes are happening simultaneously.
At the same time, yeah.
Data, pardon my French, he goes, "Oh shit." So I don't. Would you say that was them kind of be like, "Well, we're in the movies now. We can kind of say this stuff now."
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's apt too because at the same time, Picard gets stuck going through the rocks. So he can get to Soran.
Well, he gets through.
Yeah.
Because granted, Soran makes the hole bigger by shooting at it. So
maybe he wanted to be defeated, Matt. Maybe he knew he was on the losing side. This is happening back and forth. But when the ship crashes, like, they get their money's worth out of it because they show it for a long time. But
it's like destroying trees and entire landscapes.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's just like trying to be more science than fiction in this term. Like, it's trying to deal, like, it would just keep going because it would just have so much energy propelling it, or force, I should say. But then I realized that later on there's a reason maybe why they're showing it over and over again, because they reuse that footage. Not in a bad way. They have to reuse it because it's part of the story.
Yeah.
I felt like it lived up to the cinematic scope, and it had some cool, interesting cinematography to those moments.
Picard confronts Soran. And it tries to stop him and fails.
Yeah, he's fighting cheesy fight. Actually, not as cheesy as the show. Like, the fight's a little bit better. I mean, it makes sense. Like, we keep saying Picard's more of a diplomat than a fighter, but it makes sense that, like, this time around he would be having to be a man of action. You know, because it's his movie, so he has to be the one to fight Soran. But yeah, the fight's pretty good. And then. At the same time, the ribbon appears, and it hits Soran and Picard, and they disappear. But what happens to the planet, the Enterprise, Matt?
It blows up.
Yeah, it goes away. And that was the end of Star Trek The Next Generation. No. But at the time of this recording, it's almost Christmas, and this movie kind of is a
Christmas movie.
Based on one scene. Yeah. You want to talk about being in the Nexus?
So Picard's in the Nexus, and his ideal
heaven,
I guess, is time. The thing that the Nexus tries to tempt him with is family at Christmas.
He has like 3 or 4 kids. He has a wife. His
nephew's still alive.
Yeah. My question: should the wife have been Crusher? You think the wife should have been Beverly? Or the way the relationship ended in TNG, it would have... Because this is like kind of what his heart desires, right?
Right.
Would it have been Beverly, or he kind of made peace with that?
I think he made peace with that, at least for now.
Okay.
You'll see.
Okay. But yeah, you could continue.
So they try to tempt him with family at Christmas.
Yeah.
And he realizes there's something hollow about this.
Yeah, so question. So he sees, like the ornaments shining. I thought it was Morse code or some sort of code, but it wasn't a code. It was
No.
Just, what was it though? Like,
I think he just realized that this might be what his heart desired, but it wasn't real.
It was hollow, like you said.
Yeah.
Illusion. So I also thought it was an interesting moment. Almost had like the holodeck because he was in his like as scenes in the holodeck. I always thought was interesting is like when they're back in like the 50s or the 1800s and they're wearing the regular uniforms. It like feels like so out of place.
Yeah.
In an interesting way, and that made me think of this like because he's wearing his uniform, but who shows up? Like you said, fourth appearance.
Guinan shows up.
Yeah.
And this is the echo of her that was left when she was in the Nexus.
It's interesting that she recognized Picard. Do you think it's us that she recognized Picard?
I think it was because he was questioning things.
Okay.
The Nexus was like, here's something that's familiar to you.
Okay. Like, even though you don't know who I am yet.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense that they wouldn't remember that because almost like when you leave the Nexus, you don't always remember everything, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's guys. She says she's an echo.
Yeah.
And I thought this. We keep saying there's a big theme of time in this movie, and I thought one thing I wrote down as a question I had was like he has unlimited time. Time doesn't mean anything, but like, does it mean less if we have enough of it? Because the fact that you don't have enough time that makes things more meaningful.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's cliche, and it's
but it's
sustained.
Having a deadline on things makes things mean more
because you don't
because you're not there's not infinite amount of time. You can't do everything.
Yeah.
You have to prioritize what's most important to me.
And I thought again, like Stewart did a good job in the scene with Curtis earlier. He does a really good here. Like you see his struggle to be like, this is kind of what I want more than anything, and I had to leave. Especially seeing his nephew alive again. It's a chance for me to see him grow up. Because even Guy says you can see what happens to him when he grows up. You can see what happens to your grandkids. But like Picard realizes like this doesn't mean anything, and it's almost like he's just stuck in a moment.
Yeah,
you're stuck in a memory, but that's not a life. You're just reliving one part of your life.
You're not even reliving a part of your life. You're living your dream. It's essentially what it's essentially just a dream.
Wish fulfillment.
Fulfillment. And there's something to be said that like wish fulfillment is not necessarily a good thing.
It can drive you to get that wish fulfilled, but just having it given to you
exactly is not.
Yeah.
You there's nothing without work.
Yeah. And so, like I said, like, Stewart does a good job here. Like, he really, like, he has, like, these kids telling him, oh, I love you, Papa, and thank you for this. And, like, they get that unconditional love and knowing that, you know, Guinan said early on, like, it's very tempting to do this.
Yes.
To be stuck in this Nexus. But it's not real. It doesn't mean anything. It's just tempting you. And he mentions, I have to go back. I have to stop Sauron from making this happen. And she says, I can help you, but I know somebody who can.
He's just joined. He's just entered.
Yeah. Which I thought was interesting. It's like that kind of like...
Oh, time doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but that's for me, it's interesting. For like everybody that you meet in the Nexus, or if you do meet them, they all have a different sense of how long they've been there.
Yeah.
And who does he meet?
He meets Kirk.
Captain James T. Kirk. Who
was stuck on the day when he decided to go back to Starfleet.
Now, I'm guessing this is
probably pre... Movies.
Okay.
Or either that or between movie 1 and movie 2.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Actually, because in movie 2, he's retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, that's a good point. I liked how this set kind of reminded me of Star Trek V when they were in the wild, in the forest.
Yeah.
It had a very kind of same feel, so it makes sense Kirk was from... Oh, jeez. Okay. He's from
Idaho.
the Midwest, yeah. And so, like, he would be living in, like, a cabin-type setting.
Yeah.
And I really liked the moment between the two of them, because I liked how you get these two different personalities meeting and conflicting with each other. Kirk is very fun and goofy, and Picard is just trying to be serious. And I thought it was interesting, too, that Kirk is like, Picard tells him, this isn't your house.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything okay?
Yeah, no, I'm just looking up the...
Okay. And Kirk almost, like, dismisses it. He goes, well, that's fine. I don't care. The whole moment between them was funny, because Kirk is so distracted.
Yes.
Because, I mean, he's been living in this Nexus for 9 years. That's what he says. Or that he realizes it's been, like, 9 years or something like that.
And correction,
yeah.
Kirk is from Iowa.
Okay. Sorry. We're not the best Star Trek fans. Sorry. Yeah, it's just funny just to see the two of them bicker, and, Picard's kind of like, this is your duty. You have to do this. And
he's like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't have to do this. This is my help, and,
And then he eventually realizes that his thing is just a dream, and it's not fulfilling him either.
Well, even before, like, I'll say one more before that, too, I liked was that, I want to know Captain Cook's omelet recipe. It sounded pretty good. And it reminded me of when Riker was making omelets.
Yeah.
On the Enterprise. Hence the similarity between Riker and Cook in some ways. But yeah, he doesn't want to leave, and he doesn't feel like his duty means anything until he goes through the door to meet his girlfriend, and he goes into his uncle's barn. And he sees the horses there.
And then he goes and rides the horse and is able to jump the gorge, or the
it was like a rock or something.
A river or something like that.
Yeah.
He jumps it like 20 times or something like that, and it doesn't feel like anything.
He says, like, that always scared me, and I'm not scared here. And
because it's not real.
Then that's when he realizes that if I don't feel anything here, it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, that's the thing with Captain Kirk. He's like it's always driven by
feeling
and emotion and gut reaction. And if he doesn't have that, then he's not being the complete person he always has been.
Which is what breaks him out of his spell, and he's like, I'll go back with you and stop.
Yeah, I like, too, the horse riding scene, because it's nice cinematography, too, like, and very sweeping. And the music, I thought the music was pretty, that moment made me go, the music feels a lot bigger in this movie, too. Like, it's a very, very sweeping score. Hey, I actually have a question for you, like, so, I mean, I can ask you now, I can ask it later, but it's connected.
Ask
now. The Nexus story, like, is there a relation between that and Data?
Not really.
Well, do you feel like it's because, like, kind of like knowing to control or recognize your feelings if they meant to say something?
I think...
or it's just two different plot points?
I mean, thematically, they're connected.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Thematically. Like,
thematically, I could see them being connected. Because they are very much 1A, 1B.
Yeah, but it's just like that sense of, like, kind of, like you said, recognizing and understanding your feelings.
And understanding what's real and what's not.
Good point. And at that moment, as on horseback, that's when Kirk's talking to Picard. He goes, "You're a captain? What's the ship? Like, it's Enterprise." He goes, "Give me advice. Don't retire."
Yes.
Don't retire unless you need to and you're ready to. Because he makes a good point. He says, like, you can still make a difference doing what you do. And I guess...
And you'll never have a ship that's quite like the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes back to the first episode of TNG where McCoy says to Data in that big cameo moment, he goes, like, this ship will always get you home. Like, he's like, man, it's very special, the name, what it means and what it represents. But I like, too, that, like, he looks at Picard, he's like, well, you're a captain, I can't argue with you. And I like that he made the point that he mentioned Spock, and he goes like, Spock would say I'm being irrational. So, I'll do it. It'll be fun. And that's good. He sees danger as something to embrace and jump back into. And it's another question, though. It's like, they go back in time. So the Nexus can let you jump back to wherever you need to go, I guess.
It's as they said, time is meaningless in the Nexus.
No.
So you can go wherever you want. You can Kirk could have gone back to when he disappeared if he wanted to.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, so technically, Soran could have gone back to before the Borg killed his family and left the planet they were on.
Yeah.
Theoretically. Instead of just living in this moment.
Yeah.
This is why you should talk to Deanna. She may have, helped him a little bit.
Helped him get through his. No, I don't think there was any helping him.
No, he was lost. He was very consumed, and he was very driven to get what he thought was the right thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they decide to leave the Nexus. They go back in time, and we see the saucer crash landing on the planet again, which is why I'm like, so that's why they showed it so much, so they would have more footage to show again later. And then we get to the Soran fight.
Now, Kirk is on the bridge, confronting him.
It makes me think, like, it would have been interesting if there was a moment if Soran met Kirk when he got rescued on the Enterprise B, because it would have made that moment be like, how are you here? Something like that. But that would have been a lot of try working around. We get two things happening. We get Kirk decides to fight Soran, and Picard's going to try to stop the probe from going to the sun.
And then Picard's like, you know what? I'm going to also fight Soran.
Yeah.
We have enough time.
And there's a lot going on because Soran's, like, cloaking the probe, too. It's like, oh, you can't find it now. So he needs this remote to deactivate it. At the same time, the ribbon's starting to appear, and they're on a bridge. And they're fighting. And
the bridge breaks.
And Kirk, is sliding down, and Picard saves him. And they decide, Kirk says that he'll try to get the probe this time, and you fight Soran. They kind of switch what's going on a lot. So it sounds like we're going back and forth, but the movie does that too.
Yeah, the movie does it quite a bit, and they... it works. It's not super confusing when you see it.
No. But just hearing it might be confusing. But I like the part where Kirk decides to go to control, and he says, "Okay, Captain." And he's like something like that, and he's like, "Don't call me Jim." So that's what it is. Kirk decides he has to get the remote, and there's not enough light, so he jumps to get it, and he decloaks.
He decloaks it, but the bridge falls.
Yeah, but Picard's able to get to the probe. He stops it. He locks it, and But then he kind of like, it's almost kind of funny, like talking about, like describing it, because Picard's kind of like, I messed it up, I'm gonna leave, and then Soran's like, uh-oh, and kaboom, it explodes. It's like when we described the explosion in the first Bad Boys movie. It's like that. It's a big explosion for a Star Trek movie. So they stop the probe. It explodes.
They kill Sauron.
Yeah. Sauron killed himself by getting right in that spot, even though it was danger. And the ribbon disappears. It goes away.
Yeah.
But it comes at a loss because
Captain Kirk is being crushed under the bridge.
Mm-hmm. And he's dying.
And there's no way to beam him up because the ship is...
it's crash landing on the planet.
The ship's crash landed on the planet. Mm-hmm. And, there's nothing they could do.
And the Kirk's final words were, "It was fun." And I like, in the sense that it had a twofold meaning, because it was Kirk kind of going like, I got to have...
One last time.
Yeah, and it was kind of like Shatner saying, like, it was fun to play this role one last time. But I know there's a debate in terms of how Kirk goes out. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel...
it's better than Yar.
Yes.
But almost anything would be.
Yeah.
For Kirk, he went out a hero, but... getting crushed under a bridge is kind of lame.
Yeah, so I don't have as much of a criticism about it as much I heard other people say.
I think it's just the fact that he got crushed by a bridge.
I guess so, but in the context of what happened, it makes sense why. To me, it's Captain Kirk was never a guy that was just gonna go close his eyes on his deathbed and move on. He was always going to...
Well, no, I was... A lot of people, if he was going to go out, they wanted him to go out in a blaze of glory almost, like a last stand.
I guess so, but I guess there's something, too, about like where he is at this point in his life.
Yeah.
That any little bit of heroics is enough for him to feel like that was a blaze of glory. Like, he saved the day one last time. And, yeah, it wasn't to the excitement that you expect from James T. Kirk, but it was in line with a guy who's
in his 60s or 70s, and
well, that, but also somebody who always took a risk to get the job done, even if it meant the smallest or biggest consequence. So yeah, I didn't mind it. Like, would more fanfare around it make it a bit more memorable? Sure, but I mean, like a lot of things, we're still talking about it, so it has an impact, whether you agree with it or not. But I felt that it was in line with Kirk going out the way he wanted to, saving not just this planet, but one more crew of the Enterprise. Because he was always somebody that would put himself above everybody else. Maybe that's why he always went being down to the planets, because he wanted to make sure it was safe for the rest of the crew. But yeah, so that's how I felt about that. I also thought it was interesting, nice little touch that the TOS theme plays when Picard's burying him. Yeah. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I thought
it was a great... and honestly, it was a great funeral scene. And then after that, we get the ship being salvaged.
Yeah, the shuttlecrafts are showing up. I thought that was... I like seeing the shuttlecrafts, like... Yeah. Again, like, you see the, like... On the show, like, the Enterprise felt big, but you feel the weight of it and the scope of it and the scale.
Yeah. This time like, these shuttlecrafts are little tiny, little dinky little things, and... Yeah. And the ship's massive.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes you realize how much people could be. Like, how they could fit so many people in the saucer section. And as they're going through the rubble, we meet Data and Deanna, and he found Spot.
Yeah.
And it's a very emotional moment, because it's the first time Data is experiencing emotions without trying to understand emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Because he's crying, but he's like, but I'm happy, so why am I feeling this way?
And Deanna's like, well, that's how it is sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you said, I'm going to get more of that in the rest
You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
Yeah. Matt's being very good at not spoiling this for me.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much.
Especially because, first context, I don't much I know about the TNG movies. Then we get to the last scene of the film, and we thank you for sticking with us this whole time. Picard finds his photo album, and very surprised and happy that it survives, because I mean, everything else in his ready room was pretty destroyed. Yeah,
but the most important thing, the memories of his family, are still around.
The legacy will continue, and he'll find a way to keep it going. And as he's talking to Riker, he's talking about what Soran was doing and his feelings at the time. And I made a point to write down the whole quote. Yeah. Because I really liked it. And Picard says his thoughts on time. He says, quote, "Someone once told me that time is a predator that stalks us all our lives. But I rather believe that time is a companion who goes with us on the journey and reminds us to cherish every moment because they'll never come again. What we leave behind is not as important as how we lived. After all, number one, we're only mortal," end quote. But it's just such a good moment because, like, you see the duality. We mentioned before that Soran and Picard have two different views of time. Yeah. That Soran's very, like, time just eats away at us. And
it destroys everything that you've ever seen and will ever do. It's just a destruction.
And Picard's saying that
it's a companion that you take with you, and it makes moments mean more.
That every place you've gone, time is there with you to make that stamp on your life. Yeah, and to make those moments mean more because of the time you had to get it done, or the time. I was gonna say allowed to get it done is the same thing.
No, because you're only mortal, you only have so much time. So every moment of your life matters.
That's a good point. So, I mean, how'd you like do? In terms of Picard quotes, where would you put that? Like,
it's definitely towards the top. It's no drumhead quote, but it's still towards the top of my Picard speeches.
I mean, like, in the way I try to do my best Patrick Stewart reciting, but it's again Patrick Stewart, like, he takes these monologues or these quotes and he just gives them such
gravitas.
Weight, in life. And then Riker has a crack a joke about, well, they go on the bridge, and I thought this was interesting because, like, he looks at the chair, he's like, I kind of always wanted this, and I thought it was a nice way to kind of say goodbye to the
old ship.
Yeah. I mean, did you feel like that was what that moment was kind of commenting on?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I've noticed this with Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
Especially, is it Wrath of Khan and this one?
Yeah.
The Enterprise gets destroyed.
It was 3, the Enterprise got destroyed.
Sorry, 3.
Yeah.
Search for Spock and this. Yeah. They had that same thing. The Enterprise gets destroyed and they need a new Enterprise.
Yeah. But some kind of nice way, like, just setting a new stage and a new...
Yeah.
A new chapter in the lives of the crew. And then the ships fly off into space for another adventure. And good special effects. So the ships look really, really big and massive in this movie. And, yeah, it lived up to the cinematic scope. I'll definitely say that. And that's the end of the movie. So
now I have a question for you.
Okay.
Since last time you had a question for me. My question for you is, now that you've seen all the changing of all the passing of the torch moments of the TNG era, from TOS to TNG, which is your favorite?
I mean, like, I feel like a lot of people would jump to Spock, because that was a very integral moment of, like, seeing the changing of the eras. Believe it or not, I would say Scotty.
Okay.
I really liked, I forget what the name of the episode is, but the way they were able to kind of get closure to the era, because there's that one...
It was Relics.
Yeah, Relics. And I really liked that moment where he's talking about the Enterprise, where it used to be, and he's talking with Picard about it, and he's saying, like, this is what, I miss and everything. And it was just him understanding Scotty on a very even level, that it felt like a nice passing of the torch for me. I really like that, because as much as I like Unification, seeing Spock again, and what Spock was continuing doing, there was just something in terms of allowing us to have a sense of what the ship used to look like versus the ship now. And I thought, to me, that was a nice kind of passing of the torch.
Okay.
But this movie definitely felt like a passing of the torch. In some ways, I wonder if some people feel it was a little later than it could have been.
Yeah.
In terms of giving the Next Generation crew, like, this is now your era. And it's a very good question. I like that one. But I would say Scotty, because I liked that cameo, and I also felt like because they took enough time to show Scotty and him feeling like he was being pushed aside. And I guess somebody could say, no, we haven't forgotten about that era of TOS. We still remember it. We cherish it. And that's enough that we honor it, that we can go on with this new era.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, for me, I would say mine is probably... Honestly, I rank them, except for Bones, about all equally, because they all got, like, dedicated episodes to them.
You cheated. I didn't know I could answer that way. Yeah.
They got dedicated, almost like... They got dedicated stories.
Yeah, because...
Whereas Bones was just a cameo.
Yeah. Like, when we started, you're like, oh, you'll see a passing of torch from TNG to Deep Space Nine and other things like that.
Yeah.
Bones was... It was nice to see, but it was much a cameo. But when you get the ones that, like, with Kirk, and you get it with Spock, and you get it with Scotty, that... Like you said, it takes the time to kind of, like, see where these characters are now, and kind of allow the TNG to be like, oh, we can build off of that and feel like we've earned that right to continue the legacy that you set up.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, if I can change my answer, yes, all of them. But I guess if I could pick...
But if you had to choose one, you'd say Relics.
Yeah, Relics, yeah.
Okay.
As much as I love Spock, Relics just had, like, some very...
It had some of the best moments of any crew member,
and it was a way to use a cameo to kind of do a little bit more than just have Scotty show up. It had a reason and a meaning to it.
Yeah. And
I guess you could even say, like, you passing the torch in a way too, because him and Joy work together.
Yeah.
And so it's from one engineer to another, so there's that too. But overall, like, okay, so you asked a question, and going back to Generations as we close out, like, overall, talking about Generations, Star Trek Generations, I said Generations a lot.
Yeah.
I'm on a lot of coffee right now. How'd you feel about the movie?
I enjoyed it on a rewatch. Yeah. Granted, I hadn't seen it in years. It's better than I remember it being.
Yeah, go. Anything else?
And I do think that this is like almost a definitive passing of the torch moment.
Absolutely. Yeah,
especially because, yes, while it came later in the run of the TNG stuff, it feels like you were waiting for Captain Kirk to show up and give his blessing to the crew.
Yeah. And I guess in that way it lives up to the title. Because there was the epic passing of the torch, whereas TNG have a small passing of torch moments. Having watched it for the first time, I mean, I've seen some reviews for it, but like actually watching the movie in its entirety, I enjoyed it overall. Like I said, it felt like a big screen version of a 2-part TNG episode, but it never stopped feeling like a movie. And in fact, the movie moved pretty quickly, I would say. It never had any like lull moments. I felt like it was like I was, being dragged through it. Like
unlike the original movie.
Star Trek compared to the first TOS movie, this is a fast-paced movie, and it was. I like seeing the way they built up the cinematic scope of the TNG movies and what they said to go forward. Even though like some characters didn't get as much screen time, this was Picard's story, and like you said, passing the torch from Kirk to Picard. So it makes sense why he got the most screen time. But yeah, the emotional beats in this movie like really hit, and they hit hard sometimes, and wonderfully acted by Picard, Patrick Stewart. In some ways, I feel like Kirk. I mean, would you say sometimes he felt like a plot device?
The Nexus as a whole was a plot device. Yeah,
but I guess that was my thing. Like, it's not like how Captain Kirk died. Sometimes it's a little bit more of that he was just there because he had to be. Like he was a plot device. But in terms of moving from the TOS movie era to the TNG movie era, I thought it was a solid first entry. I liked it. It gave me everything that I like about the TNG show, and it gave me a mini TOS movie to begin with. But across the board, overall thoughts, I enjoyed this movie more than I expected to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
So you can find us at _franchise_connection at Instagram, and you can email us at franchiseconnectionpodcast@gmail.com. Give us questions, comments, tell us how we're doing.
Let us know if we got any Star Trek facts wrong in this movie.
Which we probably did, because we didn't do very much research.
Actually, a big question. Send us your thoughts of if you have seen Star Trek Generations. What did you think about how Captain Kirk went out? If you thought it was justified, or if it could have been better, what your thoughts of what this movie was. Send your thoughts or suggestions, We're waiting.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in to our review for Star Trek Generations. Come back next time when Captain Picard and his crew try to stop the Borg from rewriting history in Star Trek First Contact. Until franchise fatigue sets in, I'm Matt Fisher.
I'm Matt Sparrow.
For the Franchise Connection.
And I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Before I say bye, First Contact was, in some ways, my first contact with Next Generation. That set the standard of what I expected to see. So it's going to be interesting.
Fun rewatching it
because I remember very little, and I've seen clips of it or scenes of it when I've been flipping through the TV channels. So noticing moments that mean more now than they were before. But this is going to be fun. I'm excited because from what I've heard, it only goes downhill after this. But we'll see. Maybe I like the other two movies better. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.